Brunno Ferreira, he fulfilled the prophecy of the unfortunate reality, man. Sometime, every fighter, at some point, your chin has an expiration date, meaning that you take so much trauma. Maybe you had a couple bad, vicious, like bad KO losses, right? It happens. It's life, right? You know, your brain takes so much trauma that it goes the Chuck Liddell route where it says, I'm going to save you from you. So when you get hit, instead of just letting you take it and like get all of this damage, I'm just going to turn off. I'm going to go to sleep. And then we're going to wake up and then we'll be all good. And you can live a long, healthy life after that. But in terms of fight game, AJ doesn't quite work out that way. Phil Hawes, he got touched by Brunno Ferreira. He had an interesting game plan, which was let me stand with Brunno Ferreira. Even Ferreira was the one initiating takedowns. He got clipped right on the temple, and he went down. A couple extra follow-up shots for good measure. What were your thoughts?
Man, if folks, this is an interesting one, because if you've ever been clipped in the temple or clipped in any fight, you kind of get rung a little bit in your days in jazz, you know how hard it is to regain your composure from that imbalance that you just received. But Phil Hawes, going to your point about losing a little bit of the chin or the chin fading away a little bit, not necessarily having that granite in it anymore. That's what it kind of seemed like. Because don't get me wrong, Bautista, excuse me, not Bautista.
Brunno Ferreira.
There we go. Yeah. Brunno Ferreira. Thank you, Derek. Brunno Ferreira can crack with the best of them, has power on power on power. But he didn't really obliterate Phil Hawes, man. He just clipped him right on the temple. So I'm not saying, no knock on Hawes for going down with that, because it is a powerful shot on a precise location. But there were moments in that fight where you could just tell Phil Hawes was not comfortable getting hit anymore. He was looking for things. He was not necessarily looking for a way up, but looking for a way to get away from what was happening. And it's worrisome for Phil Hawes, especially being the fact that this guy used to just sit down, bite down on his mouthpiece, and throw power right back. But having this kind of inefficiency or instability in his chin makes it very, very worrisome. And I can definitely see what you're talking about in that lack, or that chin lacking a little bit now, because you can't go against guys with this kind of power and still continuously have this happen to you, man. It's not a good look.
What do you think about the game plan? This was kind of a battle of wrestling versus judo, right? Ferreira in the judo corner, Phil Hawes in the wrestling corner, I believe. And Phil Hawes shot no takedowns, but he did have to defend a few against Ferreira. There was a couple of dogfight positions right there. But ultimately, man, like, you stand with a dude who is known to just knock out everybody. Literally, all of his wins, I'm pretty sure, are by knockout. Or maybe he has like one decision right there. But the point is, what did you think about the game plan?
I didn't like it one bit, Derek. I didn't like it at all. Loved it for Brunno Ferreira. The guy's trying to get at you. Once he gets close, you throw the judo, get into the ground, get back up, start brawling again. Love that for Brunno Ferreira. For Phil Hawes, it made it very interesting to see why you couldn't, when the guy's rushing you down, cut an angle, get to the hips, or any sort of anything to advance your own position in this one. Because that's where I was going with when I was saying Phil Hawes, it looked like he was faltering a little bit. It looked, you could tell he was in danger and not necessarily putting in his own game plan. He was reacting to the situation that was occurring, and it's always a scary look for a fighter.
Well, when you have a Ferreira doing one of your favorite strategies where, you want to shoot, I'm going to give you something up the middle, right? Knees up the middle, uppercuts, right? Flying knee. I'm going to warn you, if you shoot, you're going to be, something's coming, you know what I mean? So I thought that this was a really good get-back performance by Brunno Ferreira. But more importantly, I did kind of worry, because I felt like if he wasn't able to secure that knockout shot that he did, he looked like he was a little tired at the end of that first round. And I'm just like, man, live by the sword, die by the sword, but it's a dangerous game to play. At the end of the day, though, man, listen, you can't sit there and ponder on the what-ifs of the world. Brunno Ferreira via knockout to start off 2024. Big win. We cashed in on that Bloody Water Podcast consensus pick. And with that being said, folks, that is your main card breakdown.